Hi, we're Ginger and Kris, and we're locals here in Vegas, and we have this channel that we love sharing our Vegas life with you.
Yep.
And we wanted to create this video because we've had some people say you shouldn't game, because if you game, all you're going to do is put your winnings right back in. And we've talked a lot about this, and so we wanted to share our thoughts on this with you. So basically, one way of looking at gaming is that it's entertainment. You get to choose what your entertainment is. You can spend money on going to shows, going out to dinner, which we also enjoy doing as well.
Yeah.
But you get to choose what you want to do for your entertainment. So if gaming is part of that, go for it. Maybe you like to play cards, maybe you like to hit the slot machines. So you get to choose what you want to do for your game. What we say that you should do is, these are just, again, our thoughts, is you should have a budget. And, some people are going to have a more flexible budget, some have a more strict budget. It doesn't really matter. Everything's relative. When you have your own budget and you say, this is how much I'm going to have to game with this week, whether it's $100, $300, $500, $1,000, whatever it is that you set, that's your entertainment, that's your gaming, and you set that. So those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and you want to set that within your limits, and just as you would if you were going to a rock concert, you count the cost, you figure out how much a ticket is, how much you're going to spend on food and all of that, and that is what you're willing to pay for entertainment. No different with slots or gaming or cards or whatever else. If that's your chosen method of fun and gaming and entertainment, then that's what you spend that money on. The key is staying within that dollar amount that you're comfortable with. Not everyone can do that.
No, and we've talked about some ways, some tricks that we have on staying within that. So we want to share those with you. But before we go there, I want to talk about tourists versus locals. Because if you're a local, you're going to be gaming a lot more often than you would if you're a tourist. Tourists who come to town for, say, 3 days, 5 days, 1 day, whatever it is, and you've got that small amount of time, and you're like, boom, boom, I'm going to hit it hard. And so that's a little different than if you're a local and you live here and you're like, you could game any time of the day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So then you want to be a little bit more disciplined, so to speak, with it, because
So is that would you say that it takes more discipline to be a local in Las Vegas than a visitor?
Personally, I think it does.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Because the opportunity is there all the time, whereas if you live in Oklahoma, you're not coming here every other day because that costs a lot of money to get here. But a local's got the advantage that there are many casinos off the strip that are really fun and really exciting. So that's alluring, but it has to be within your budget, it has to be comfortable for you, and you have to be able to afford it.
Well, with that said, there have been so many times that we've seen people in the casinos and they're like, oh, I just really lost I lost everything here in Vegas. I just gave Vegas all my money. And I think that it's because they come here and they hit it hard. So I think it's actually to your advantage to be a local and then use the tips and tricks that we're going to share with you on ways to really, it's really hard. In a way, it's almost like dieting or going to the gym or anything like that you do that's disciplined in life. But definitely can do it. And so this is just fun conversation. Please leave things down in the comments, because comments are what brought this video to life and made us really talk and think about this. So if you leave comments, then it'll give us more to talk about later.
Babe, what would you say are the weapons the casino has to help erode and chip away at our discipline? When you're playing a slot machine, for instance, what are the things that they do to keep you playing?
Right. Well, I think that one of the things that the casino does is they like to give you free cocktails. And we like our free cocktails.
Yeah.
We like our free cocktails, don't we, Kris?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sometimes we really like them. And the problem that we have then is, you're really liking your cocktails, you're like, okay, new looser, and you just really kind of lose track of everything. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that the casinos do.
I would think that's number one, enemy number one. Number two, maybe the type of machine that, like you talked about, the bells, the whistles, the lights flashing. They're trying to do everything they can to keep you excited and thinking that the very next pull, if you're playing slots, is the one that's going to hit. Because they do a lot of teases. If it's a 6 or bonus, you get 5 all the time. Oh, we're almost ready to hit, almost ready to hit. And in reality, that's not really the case. So I'm going to give a little shout out to Cowboy Slots right now, because they talk about having a budget and looking at your slot playing as a session. So a finite amount of time. Here, I'm going to bet $200, and if I double that $200, I'm going to pocket the winnings on that. That's kind of our philosophy. But there's the value of saying, I'm going to play for 20 minutes, and win or lose, I'm shutting it down, and I'm going to go get a drink. I'm going to go get something to eat. I'm going to take a little break, let my brain kind of refresh and get ready for the next session, rather than playing hour after hour after hour after hour, because in that time period, the casino's going to win 9 times out of 10. Don't quote me on the exact stats, but more often than not, the longer you play, the higher the chance that the casino is going to take your cash. So have a session as one option, play for the amount of time you've budgeted, and with the dollar amount you've budgeted, have fun with that, and then maybe walk away, then come back, all rested and refreshed and not caught up in the bells and whistles and all that.
And that's one good way of thinking about it. But I think, honestly, I think I'd have a little bit of a hard time doing 20 minutes. But I like that. And sessions is something, as a card player, playing blackjack and poker, they are definitely called sessions. So you have a session. And sessions of slot play are a really good way to look at it. This is my session. So you actually have it kind of controlled and maybe even documented. Maybe you could even document your play so that you know this is how much I'm doing. But let's talk about the main key things that you and I do to really monitor our play.
Yeah.
So what would you say that would be?
Well, we kind of have this rule of thumb that, like I said before, that if we double our winnings, if we put in $100 in and we've just won 200, we're going to cash out, pocket the 200, pocket 100, and then put that other 100 right back and keep playing a little bit, right? I have a little case that I keep with me. It's this little credit card case, and every winning that I get, I stick inside of here. Currently, it's empty. But actually, tonight I've won quite a bit,
I just
haven't got there to put it all in yet. But it's a way to sock it away, and if I put it in here, I'm not touching it. I have the discipline to say, those are my winnings, they go in my pocket, and I don't touch them. So that's one way.
Okay, and let me just rephrase what Kris just said. So if we sit down and put $200 in the machine, then as soon as that amount doubles, we cash out. So say as soon as it goes over 400, we cash out, take the ticket, cut to the machine, cash it out, get your cash, put 200 in, and start over again. So in that way, you always feel like you're fresh, because if you leave your money in the machine and just continue to play on it, it typically will go, unless you just get really lucky, it's going to go down. So it just kind of gives you more of a grip on what you're doing.
Yeah, the goal is you want to walk away with cash from your winnings. If you sock them away and cash out in those doubling intervals or whatever, you have a chance of walking away with cash. If you just leave it in, like Ginger said, your odds are you're going to keep playing until it's all gone.
Yes. So that's probably one of the best things that we have as far as a tool goes. And we kind of have accountability with each other, which really does help, because even whether we're drinking or not drinking, and normally we don't have issues with the whole drinking thing, but but I mean, does it happen? Yeah, it has happened. So, but even when you're playing, and sometimes if there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of people playing around you and everyone's playing like high dollar and all that, that's something that's really easy to get caught up into too, I think. That's happened to us at the Bellagio a couple times. And you just have to stay focused. This is your play, your decisions. You make your decisions. And one of my big things is to have a plan.
Yeah.
You go in with a plan and then follow through on that plan, because it's really easy to have a plan. And this goes for cards as well. Again, as tournament poker player, blackjack, you have your plan, especially in tournament and poker. You have a plan. Say you have a suited ace, and your plan is, well, I'm going to play this hand as long as I'm going to see the flop, as long as it doesn't get too expensive. You see the flop, maybe there's two spades out there, and you've connected with that by two, and after that nobody really makes any big raises. Okay, then you can go forward. If somebody makes a big raise, you already said, nope, I'm going to see. I didn't get three spades, so I'm going to go ahead and let it go. So you let it go, but it's so hard sometimes because you want to hold on to it. The same thing happens with slots. You're like, okay, well, let me just play 100 more, and then you're like, you just keep getting two apples, two whatever, two peacocks, or you keep getting five orbs. You're like, oh, it's going to pay me. Or one of the big ones that we've experienced is when there's a really big major.
Oh yeah, so on the Dragon Link machines, if you see a major that is topped out at 1,000, it's very, very tempting to chase that major. And that means you play and you play and you play and you extend yourself beyond what you would normally do because there's a major there. But the reality is every pull is random. It's calculated by a random number generator, and there is no assuredness that just because there's 1,000 up there and it's maxed out that you're going to be the one to get it. I've seen a major be on the machine at 1,000 for days on end, and the casino is collecting money over and over and over again. So that's a word of caution there. I would say, along with what Ginger's saying, as a slot player, one of the big things is understanding if you're going to spend a couple $100, what you ought to do your research. You ought to look into what types of machines are wired and built what way. So again, a shout out to Cowboy Slots. They talk a lot about low volatility machines and high volatility machines. Low volatility machines, some of our favorites, we just played tonight, both Top Dollar and Pinball are low volatility machines. So they pay more frequently, smaller amounts, still with the potential of a big jackpot, but high volatility machines like Dragon Link have much longer spans of time between payouts. So you better have a pretty good bankroll if you're going to play Dragon Link. But if you hit the jackpot on that, it's a big jackpot usually. So that's your choice: low volatility versus high volatility. We played that on our live stream tonight. I think we won $400 or $500 on the Top Dollar machine, and we won $1,050 on our pinball machine. So doing your research, understanding that certain machines are built by the manufacturer as a low volatility or high volatility machine, and what do you feel most comfortable wagering your money with? You don't want to just throw it out there randomly. Oh, this one looks pretty. Those lights are bright. Those are cute. No, you want to find something that you feel confident in, and there's a demonstrated history of paying well. Go ahead, babe.
Yeah, I was going to say, because, like we love Game of Thrones, and we love a lot of the shows, and so these machines come out with all of that, and I think that those are one of the key things that the casino has to lure you in. Have things that you personally recognize and identify. You connect with. And then the other thing, just another thing I was thinking about is that the casinos, you never know what time it is. Yes, you have your watch, you have your phone to know what time it is, but you're drinking alcohol, it's fun, bells and whistles around you. There's
there's a buzz in the air.
There's a
And you're part of that vibe, and
Everything's
it's easy to just say, I just want to stay here all day, and then your money's gone.
No
So,
clocks. You don't know whether it's sun is out or anything.
Yeah, it's 105 degrees out, and it's super cool and comfortable here in the air-conditioned casino. So, yeah, it's all part of that experience. It's a lot of fun, but it quickly becomes not fun when you lose discipline and deviate from your plan.
Yeah.
What do you think?
We talked about the things we wanted to share was to be the educated gaming. So that's what Kris was talking about. Know your machine, research it. A lot of people just bounce around. Oh, that one looks pretty. That one looks pretty. And we saw somebody tonight playing just right behind us. Actually, we're sitting here in the high limit room, and there was a man playing in the high limit room, and he hit kind of big on a top dollar. And he's putting a lot of money in this machine, and he had no idea. He had to go get some attendants to help him figure out how to accept the
offer or reject the offer. He was all confused.
He was pretty funny.
That's a really good point, though. A lot of people walk into a machine not understanding how it works at all. Because, I mean, a high volatility machine's got all sorts of instructions. I mean, you go through the game rules, and there's page after page after page. I mean, you have to be a nuclear physicist to understand it all, and they want it that way, so you'll just go, yeah, that's too complicated, I'll just put my money in, and let's just see if we win. And then the casino wins, you know.
And that's so funny because I was never a slot player until Kris came into my life, and really taught me to enjoy slots and taught me to really understand that there's a lot of opportunity to win with the slots, and that they can be fun. I always thought that they were just a boring machine that people just sit at and push the button. But there's, there's a lot more to it than that.
Yep.
So I think that's important to recognize and to look at. If you're going to take your hard-earned money and your money and put that into to a machine.
Somebody just won big behind us, babe.
Okay, so all of this is kind of that whole theory of responsible gaming. So just being responsible to yourself, plans, know your limits, know your machines, all of that. And then there's the fun part of it, which is not just the winning part, but the fun part, which is like the comps.
Yeah.
So how do you get the comps?
Well, you want to sign up for each casino's reward card. Number one, you just walk up to the rewards desk, you hand them your license, your driver's license, and they set you up with a card. And you put that thing in every machine, use it at every table you play cards at, or roulette, or wherever you're playing, and make sure you get credit for your play, because when that adds up, they're looking at your time in the casino, the amount you've wagered, and they're saying, okay, we want this guy or gal back, and we're going to comp them a room. We're going to give you a couple nights, and we want you to come back. So I can't tell you, since, Ginger's become more of a slot player. I mean, I think you're getting more comps maybe than you were before. Is that true?
Yeah. I can tell you that slots will give you a lot more comps than cards. The casino is more inclined to comp slot players for money to play with, food and beverage comps, room comps, and all the casinos are very generous, especially when it comes to slot play. So definitely, before you start putting money in that slot machine, before you put the money in, put the card in, make sure it turns green, and then you're good to go.
Yep.
But you don't have to do anything other than, as Kris said, give them your driver's license, and at the rewards card, and then you get the rewards station, and you get your rewards card. And we have a stack of rewards cards. So the MGM resorts, they will all use the same card. The Caesars resorts, they all use the same card.
Yep.
And then Resorts World has its own card. So we start accumulating a lot of cards, and that's okay because you get the benefits. Either you get the benefits via email or you get things in the mail. But yeah, definitely.
And a lot of sorry, babe, I didn't mean to cut you off, but a lot of casinos will match up, or organizations will match up. So if you're like a gold member out of the MGM group, Caesars properties will tier match you and give you the equivalent for Sears property. And Caesars, sorry. and so that's a quick way to gain traction with other casinos quicker by tier matching. I don't think we've paid for a room in the last year or so. It's been crazy. We're getting offers that we schedule a couple of casinos a month, right? That we go to for a couple of nights, and we have a lot of fun with that. Yeah, 2 or 3, and
that goes for locals and the Strip. There's the Strip, and then there's downtown, and then there's the locals casinos, and honestly, there's a lot of people that have said that there's better, your payouts are bigger on slots at the locals casinos. And we haven't really seen that, have we, babe?
I mean, the numbers say that that's true. The total year-end reporting says that, but yeah, that hasn't been our experience. I think this goes back to doing your research. I mean, I've heard a lot of commentary from prominent YouTube guys who research Vegas life, and they've kind of downplayed the whole Bellagio experience as being one of the worst places you can play slots. We've experienced the exact opposite. We've crushed it there. Multiple majors on Dragon Link, and big wins on Top Dollar and Pinball. So yeah, do your own research, look at the numbers, and I think. Speaking of casinos, what just real quick, what are some of your favorites? I know what mine are.
Well, I love the Cosmopolitan. The Cosmopolitan is one of my favorites. Aria is one of my favorites.
Bellagio.
I do like the Bellagio. Locals casinos, I like Red Rock. Red Rock's a really awesome casino.
Rampart.
The Rampart's really beautiful. That's kind of a hidden gem. That's kind of a hidden gem. But
I like the MGM
the
too.
MGM properties are nice. MGM and Aria, I think we said that. Mandalay Bay is really fun.
We actually had a really, Mandalay Bay is awesome, yes. And we'll be going there soon. We actually had a really good time our first try at the Rio, of all places.
Yeah.
Rio's got a cool...
Not big fans of the casino itself, but slot play
we
was
crushed it at the Rio.
Awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, the hotel is in a little bit disrepair and needs some work, but we had a good time there for sure.
Yes, we did. So when it comes down to slot play, which is what we really love, and again, Kris, Ginger, we're locals in Las Vegas, and we love sharing our Vegas life with you. So we have a little bit of a different perspective as locals, but we're locals that don't just play the local casinos. We're locals that really embrace Las Vegas and really live in and understand the Strip.
Yep.
The way that we look at it is we say that Las Vegas is our ocean.
Yeah.
So both of us are originally from California, so now we're in Las Vegas in the desert, and this is our ocean. So
Babe, is it true though that the requirement to be a really good slot player is to have really cool dresses and shirts?
You know what? We love Vegas, and we love dressing, and we have fun with it, and we have fun with all aspects. We like the music, the food. We love all the things about Las Vegas, but and yes, it does help you do better at the slots.
You feel good, you play good, and then you win big.
Right. So bottom line, and the main reason we wanted to create this video was to share our thoughts on slot play and being responsible, having responsible gaming philosophy, and be a disciplined slot player. And then guess what? The most important thing is to have fun. I love it, babe. And we love sharing. So again, leave your comments because we're going to read them, take them to heart, and we learn and we explore every day. And we have fun doing it.
Yep.
Anything else, babe?
No. Loving Vegas life, and we're very fortunate to be able to share that with you guys.
All right, thank you.